Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very sad day in the motocross and supercross community because our guy Jett has torn his ACL and done some other damage. Christopher, roll the tape.
What's up, guys? Yeah, little update of the weekend. Wasn't very ideal. So I got the results today and ended up tearing my ACL. It is cooked, in other words, and a slight tear in my meniscus. So I'm going for surgery tomorrow at 11:30. Gonna get that fixed up and have 4 months, I think it is, to recover. The recovery time, as the doctor said. So it's yeah, not ideal. Was really bummed. I was hoping the worst would be maybe bone bruising, but sadly not. But no, I just want to have a huge shout out to everyone, as the team, the fans, especially the team. We've been working hard to get this bike better, and the bike was feeling good on the weekend. So
Damn.
And there you have it, folks. And just like that, the title race and the point race is as shaken up as it can get. Mr. Chris Baird, please give us your thoughts and analysis on this because nobody saw this coming. And I'm sure there are a lot of riders on the gate that are clapping their hands secretly, knowing that this monkey is off their back. So, my man, please give me your thoughts.
Well, man, I mean, I think everybody saw it. Everybody knows. I mean, it was just a stupid, simple move that you probably would make 100 times, and it would only happen maybe 5 out of 100. And just such a weird dabbed his foot, rolled off the track, and we knew right away. Like there was a really, really good feeling, at least in my gut. I was like, he's injured. Something's wrong." It's
Yep.
a bummer. It's a bummer for the series. Again, I mean, everyone's been talking about it. We've been talking about it all week. One of the best series, the best four races we've had start to a season in a long time.
Yes.
He's out. Now the
Mhm.
championships open up to, in my opinion, four guys right now. I think four guys that are going to be in this every week. I mean, you could
Yep.
probably put Hunter in there, number five. But dude, everything just changed up drastically, and I don't think a single person on the field is happy about this. But like you said, it sparks up a whole new motivation for these guys. So I'm going to put you on the spot
Yep.
right now, Matt.
Sure.
Who steps up the most to win this title out of the guys that we've seen ride? I mean, Cooper Webb, Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, Sam
Yep.
Roxon.
Yep.
Right? Those are our guys, I'm guessing.
Right. I am 100% with you. And I think Jet going down drastically increases the odds for a Cooper Webb or Eli Tomac championship win. I
Okay.
know in the first episode, I said that it was going to be Roxon who's going to win this championship. That is still a very real possibility. However, when I look at the points and when I look at how the trend has been with Roxon's riding compared to Tomac and Cooper's riding, I think my argument now has to change around that given more data that we have. However, I do not want this to be discounted on the simple fact that I think this season, this Supercross is hands down one of the best seasons we have ever witnessed. And even with Jet
Yep.
going down, as sad as that is, I think that is only going to make the racing even more interesting because of what I said earlier, that all these guys now have that monkey of Jett Lawrence off of their back. They can ride differently now. But to answer your question directly, I think this is a Tomac or a Webb championship to win. What do you think this does for the points, and who do you think steps up more now that he's out of the picture?
Well, yeah, I mean, just to cover really quick, if you guys don't know, I mean, Chase Sexton has the points lead right now. Roxon's
Hmm.
down two, Tomac's down nine, Cooper Webb is down 10 points from the lead. In
Yep.
my opinion, um, I look at main event three last week and I'm like,
Yep.
Sexton, Tomac are going to be the guys to beat right now, but big but there. Cooper Webb, probably the strongest, had mental game in the whole field. He is the strongest mentally, in my opinion.
I would
Steps
agree.
up when he needs to. Um, just question starts, I guess. And you could say the same thing again about Tomac and Sexton as well. But
Yep.
just going back to Jet really quick, I just want to like clarify, like in my opinion, if anyone's going to come back from this and blow everyone out of the water when he comes back, if anyone was to have his injury and come back swinging even harder, it's going to be Jet. Still only 21
Yes.
years old. He's so young. He has that motivation to beat McGrath's wins. This is a big setback. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Yep.
only has one win this year. He hasn't even had the points lead. Was he even going to win the championship? We don't know. He did not have the points lead yet through 4 rounds, which
But boy,
not
was he
not red
gaining
flag, but
steam. My
he
man,
was
he was
gaining
gaining
steam.
steam.
But consistent too. I mean, he was only,
Yep.
second. He had opportunities to win those main events this weekend in Glendale. But yeah, I don't know. In my eyes, I'm putting Tomac on this. I think he
Yep.
really wants to prove his last full season
I
that
think so too.
he's the guy. He's at the top of his game. 30 is the new 20 in the sport right now, from what we're seeing. I'm going Tomac, but I I want to see what Roxon does, but I think Webb's going to be hard to beat in those later rounds.
I'm with you there. I think that if this injury happened to 50% to 70% of the field, this is a career-ending injury for half of them based off of age.
Okay.
If anyone who can bounce back from this, obviously it's Jett. The kid's young, no doubt. However, the comeback will be greater than the setback for this kid. I am willing to bet that you will see an undefeated outdoor, potentially undefeated outdoor season
Wow.
if he's
Yeah.
back by then, because there is speculation, and I know you can talk about this better than I could. There is
Yep.
speculation he could be back for outdoors. Let's say he takes outdoors off, fully
Hmm.
rehabs, he is undefeated in 2026 Supercross.
There it is. No, I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure RJ had his ACL tear last offseason and came back for 250 East. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but he did this. He came back within like 3 or 4 months from an injury
Yep,
like this. The surgery, the technology. Thankfully for him, money's probably not an issue. I mean, he drives a Rolls Royce. Obviously, he's doing okay for himself. Those guys worked hard.
sure.
They've earned everything that they have. I'm not putting that against them. He's going to get
Yep,
the best doctors, the best surgery, the best help. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see him back for the first round at Fox Raceway because he's young. He's probably going to heal so fast. He's in such good shape. But
for
again, it
sure.
just makes me wonder, like, Kenny's only 2 points down. Do you like this is probably the best start to a season we've seen from Roxon since like 2017.
No doubt.
Do you see him holding on to this for the next few? Like, I need to see more. I need 5 more rounds to like believe in him. What do you think?
Yes. So, to your point, that is why I said in the beginning of this season, from that very first ride, I was like, dude, this is a different Ken Roczen. That's why I was like, this is his championship to take. Let it happen. I do think that if the more we see Roxon go on, I think he is going to be a top 5 points contender right up until the end. I am hoping it's top three. I
Yeah.
really believe because he finished 4-1-5 over those three motos. And
Yeah.
I mean those three main events. My man gains 10 points for that. And dude, I think because if you look at Chase's results as well as Cooper's results,
Yeah.
they truly were obviously they were the only two that did better than him, hence why they finished in the top two. But if you look at the field that is behind Roxon, he's riding infinitely better than them. That's why I truly think he can go the distance consistently to the end for this championship points race. But like I said, ultimately, I think it's going to come down between Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac. But I truly, in my bones, feel that Roxon's going to be there right to the end.
I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, talking about like the field behind Roxon, I kind of want to get into that for a minute. I mean, let's
Yep.
slot Hunter Lawrence into Jet spot. Let's say Hunter is the fifth guy. Say those are the top five guys right now. Okay.
Sure.
Is there anyone behind him, whether it be Jason Anderson, Justin Cooper, Aaron Plessinger? Does anyone else get a win in Supercross this year? Does anyone else podium Supercross this year? Sure, podium is a lot more realistic for these guys, for sure. I mean, Malcolm Stewart
What a
was insane
dude.
fast.
What a question, man.
Do any of
Wow.
those guys get a win though? They truly, because in my opinion, I'm going to
Oh
say no.
man.
I don't think so.
I
Hunter
as
was
I'm
the
scroll.
Hunter was the second best guy last year. Hunter went into the last round of SMX tied with Jet in points, but Jet was out for outdoors. So, to do any of these guys get wins or even podiums? Because I'm going to say no. I don't know. Maybe passenger podiums a soft round, but dude, these guys are on it. These top four guys, top five guys are on the gas, looking the best they've ever been.
To answer your question, I'm going to say no. Looking at these results, we essentially have three main events to look at data and see who's likely to somewhat make a surprise run.
Yeah,
Jason Anderson went 11, 6, and 8.
I know. After podiuming already, he podiumed twice, I believe.
Justin Cooper, 13, 13, 10. Aaron Plessinger, 10, 7, 9. I think the answer is no. To your question directly, I think the answer is no.
No, I mean I don't disagree with you. And then again, we're kind of bouncing around you guys, and please let us know your comments, what you guys think down below. We'd love to hear everyone's opinions on this because we're just speculating. We don't. It's fun to
And
talk about. A lot
let
of
us
theoreticals
clarify
here.
as to why we're bouncing around. I have this before I go to the gym. Christopher himself has 780 milligrams of caffeine in his body right now. That man has 12 shots of espresso in his body. Chris is a trooper. So that's why we're just scatterbrained all over the
Yeah.
place. But so we talked about Jett. Let's dive right into the 450s like we have been though, because one thing that I wanted to bring up to you and get your perspective on. Let's talk about two individual riders right now, Chase Sexton and Justin Cooper. Let's start with Chase.
Okay.
In my heart of hearts, this is no disrespect to Chase. And you know where I'm going with this. This is no disrespect to Chase. He is the most anticlimactic winner, podium rider, whatever you want to call it. He's the most anticlimactic guy. Him and I would say Jason Anderson's up there as well. But let's talk about Chase because talk about consistent. My man goes 3-3-2 for the win. Hats off to him for the win, no doubt. But a win from him just isn't as exciting as it is when Roxon crosses the line or Tomac does, even Cooper Webb kinda, but he doesn't have that spark and that flair. And I know that's probably the wrong thing to say, but what are your thoughts on Chase Sexton as we've seen in this season? Because we know, you and I both know, and you can talk about this better than I could data wise. Over the past 2, 3 years, he's always tucked the front end, choked, thrown it away, whatever adjective you want to use or verb. He just wasn't able to really get the results we kind of knew he could do, or maybe he knew he could do because he was just inconsistent. But now those rumors are kind of gone. So give me all things Chase Sexton.
No, I mean, yeah, it's definitely weird. Like again, we saw 2023, like, super fast, crashed a lot. You see the memes and stuff on Facebook or Instagram, and it's kind of annoying because the dude has more talent than anyone in this room ever will or ever has had at
Oh, no
anything they
doubt.
do in life.
No doubt.
Incredible.
No
But
disrespect.
yeah, the thought that Chase Sexton is now like Mr. Consistent, I mean, he's been so just there every week. And again, the Triple Crowns, I didn't think he would be able to do three mains like that. No
Yep.
crashes, no big mess ups, mistakes, or anything. He looked so
Right.
comfortable and smooth.
Right.
Essentially, like his 2023 speed was here, right? He was stupid fast, made a lot of mistakes, stole the title because of the Tomac injury, all that. No big deal. He earned it. But his speed is like not where it was in my opinion, but his consistency and maturity is out past that. So in my
Right.
eyes, like he's probably a danger to these guys because if he can just start up front and keep clicking off these podiums or seconds or whatever he can do, he's gonna win. Don't get me wrong, he's insanely fast. He's gonna win.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
But this might be what he needs to kind of further his career and then be a guy that's in the conversation to like doesn't crash anymore. Chase is good. Chase is fine. He's got this figured out. I don't see
Right.
him doing the things he did in 2023 because he doesn't ride over his head anymore. Figured the bike out. It's great. It's so different than what we're used to with him, but it's awesome to see.
Right. So let's my comment was more rooted in I think the emotional temperament of Chase. You
Yep.
hear him on the podium, very laid back, very much like I'm gonna let the bike do the talking. I'm not gonna sit up here and run my mouth like some of the other guys do.
Yeah, it's
That's
all
just
new.
not his personality.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jason Anderson for a second before we go to Justin Cooper. Jason Anderson finished 11, 6th, and 8, and he is currently sitting 6th in the points. Factory Cowie has been a dominant team for so long. Now, here's why I bring this up. Give me a second. I bring this up because every time you hear Jason Anderson talk, whether it's in a press conference, social media, whatever the case is, he almost seems like he could take or leave his career, doesn't care. It almost seems as if he's over it. Now, I likely am completely wrong. This is me speculating. This is my opinion. But at what point, let's say that's the case. Let's say it's true. Let's say he doesn't care anymore. His results aren't sitting to where he needs to be, aren't getting him where he needs to get.
Yeah.
At what point does that emotional temperament of I don't really care seep over into his results? And now he's like, dude, I don't even care about this Cali ride, whatever, man. And then the team has to make a decision. What do you think?
No, I think it's a fair criticism because again, like the highs for him are so high, but his lows are lower than a lot of these other guys. And I think he should be in this top five conversation, but he hasn't proved that he's there yet. A couple podiums are cool, but when he go, 11, 6, 8, wherever he went in these main events, that's not getting the job done. It's definitely not it. And you see when he won the title in 2018, he comes back in 2019, says the number one plate's too heavy. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of nerves. Yeah. And we talked about this off camera, I think, yesterday, but it's like, is he at a point in his life where like he had a kid, he's got a wife? Is he kind of just not checked out, but he's
Right.
going to ride these next few years out, collect his checks? Again, I don't think Cowie's going to re-sign him if he doesn't step it up a little bit. There's no contract for him from what the industry is saying right now.
Mhm.
Got to wake him up. But also, I do think that this could be good for him. Again, we saw the resurgence with Tomac changing teams. He was a lot better when he changed teams off the end of his Husky years up in the Cowie. Maybe he's just comfortable. Comfort is absolutely terrible for these guys, right?
So thank you for saying that because as you said that, I looked up his career accomplishments so far. This is directly from Racer X. 2018 450 champ,
Yep,
2022 runner up, 2022 motocross champion third.
yep,
20 He has two AMA Pro motocross championship wins, 14 career Monster Energy Supercross wins. He is
yep,
accomplished. I am not saying he is not accomplished, but like you just said, is he comfortable enough to where he could say, I've done it, I've did it. I don't really care if I do it anymore, but my skills and my ability is going to allow me to ride this longer than I would normally or the average rider could. So I
yeah.
think that's what is begging the question here, right? Because by no means are we discounting his talent, but when does Factory Cowie be like, all right, man, let's work on something here. What's going on? Where's your head at? We have other riders. I'm not saying he needs to be fired, but I'm just saying I wonder what Factory Cowie's thinking when they had a Tomac, they had a Villapoto. You know what I mean? They had these guys who were dogs, and
Yep.
now Jason Anderson's kind of just hanging out seventh, eighth place, some top tens, and that's really it.
No, it does make you wonder. I mean, there's probably a lot of guys we could say about this, and I'll talk about somebody else in the second year. But yeah, I
Yep.
mean, in my opinion, like I don't think he resigns that next year. I think he has to go to a Triumph or maybe a Phoenix Honda, or maybe he gets a ride with some another team, even like a Star or something. But it could be so good for him to move east and try something new, something different, get out of California. He's a New
Yep.
Mexico guy though, so I don't know that he does want to leave the West Coast. I mean, he seems like he likes that lifestyle.
Right.
I don't know. I think the best thing for him in his last probably what 2 or 3 years he has left, who knows? Switch teams, try something new, try something different, and just
Yep.
get comfortable. Because again, I do think maybe he's comfortable, doesn't want to push it, doesn't want to get hurt, whatever the case is.
That would be a hell of an acquisition for Triumph. I think that
Yeah,
move makes the most sense for 450s. That bike is up and coming. It's already proven. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But
yeah,
we know that Drew is our guy at Triumph, and the stuff he's told us, the bike is sick. Don't I feel like
yeah.
that makes the most sense, don't you, to go to Triumph?
I do 100%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he would be a great fit there. I mean, yeah, it's like what's next, and we could talk about him all day, but I think it's very interesting too to talk about someone like Justin Cooper.
Right.
Justin Cooper is someone that we talked about a little bit off camera. I'm proposing this question to you and everybody else. Does Justin Cooper ever win a Premier 450 Supercross? And I asked this because he's done a lot in 250s. He's proven himself as a great 250 rider, gets great starts. He's on Star Yamaha, second year. He kind of had to earn this ride, is what it sounds like, to get a full season with them because they weren't super pumped last year on some of the results and things. What is next for Justin Cooper? Does he want to push himself to the next level to possibly get hurt again, to possibly get up there to be a podium guy because the whoops are killing him. He's got to be better than the whoops, but he can start. So again, I'm just
He
give
can
me a second
start.
here to explain this. We talked about it yesterday. It's all theoretical. I'm probably wrong on this. We understand that he's married to someone whose parents are somewhat wealthy. It's not his wealth, but he's got his own
Yep.
wealth, and then his sounds like his wife's family has money. Flies to the race on private jet, family's jet, and all that. Do you keep putting yourself through hell, possibly getting hurt, possibly risking breaking bones, tearing, ligaments, whatever it is, when you can just ride out the next few years? You can get a Triumph ride, Ducati ride.
Yep.
Again, maybe he's somebody who's comfortable and needs to get pushed a little bit. I just don't know. Like Justin Cooper for me was somebody that I thought was going to move up to 450s and just take over top five, top threes, kind of be able to battle with Hunter. But don't know what's going on this year. If he's hurt or just doesn't have the spark right now, isn't comfortable. Is he is
Let,
he is he too comfortable? Is it over for him? Is he going to be a top 10 guy for the rest of his career and then that's it? I just don't know.
let's I want to talk about the riding first, then I want to talk about the lifestyle, the second thing you mentioned. I want to talk about that after the fact.
Okay.
Justin Cooper would have been a fantastic career 250 guy.
Yeah. Size,
I
everything. I mean,
To answer your question directly, I don't think he wins a 450 championship.
or even
This
a
he's a
race. What about a
he
race?
the only way he wins a race is if it's a fluke, big pile up, injuries, etc. That is it. No disrespect at all. The kid is godly gifted, talented. You and I have seen him come up through amateurs racing Unadilla many times. I remember being in shock and awe watching that kid go around on an 85 with over a minute gap over second place on the Unadilla track. It's unbelievable. That kid
Yeah.
was leaps and bounds ahead of where he was. However, I don't think he wins a championship. I don't think he wins a 450 race unless something crazy happens. The
Yeah.
whoops are the bane of that kid's existence. We've seen it every single time he gets a decent start. He just falls back in the whoops. We don't know if it's a fitness thing, if it's his body anatomically just cannot handle the bike, but I don't think he will win a championship or a race. That's just me being brutally honest. Of course, I could be proven wrong, but
Yep.
he's a great number two supporting rider because he is incredibly consistent. This past
Yeah.
weekend was weird though because he finished 13th, 13, 10 for 13th overall. But
Yeah.
I think he's a smaller guy. Cooper Webb's a smaller guy, but look at the difference in talent. That
Bulldog.
goes to show you the depth of talent the 450 class has.
That's a
Because,
problem. There's so many good guys. The top 10's full of so many good
yes,
guys.
I almost wonder if physically Justin Cooper has issues with a 450. That dude can throw
Right.
around a 250 like it's nobody's business.
Yep.
But like the 450 riding style looks way different on him. So I'll digress from there. Let's talk about the lifestyle stuff because his girlfriend's family is wealthy from what I understand. I have not done a lot of research on it, but we've all seen the private jet stuff and that's a pretty expensive lifestyle to live in to do that consistently. You have to have a lot of money. So, let's say you're Justin Cooper. You have a lot of talent. You're a top 10 guy, but is he in the rig by himself at night saying, man, I'm not a top three guy. I'm not a championship guy. I'm a great number two. I'm a great supporting role guy. I'm a fantastic top 10, top five rider. But you know what? I've got a life beyond this. So and so
Yep.
is wealthy, and we can have a very cushy lifestyle off of that income and, that way of
Top
life.
10. Yeah.
So do I just ride the bike like I know I can? Don't go too hard, don't push too much. Do the best that I can to my ability in my young age, and then just kind of ride off in the sunset, for lack of a better analogy, knowing that I have my career earnings, my wife's family's income and everything, even though I'm sure they don't share income, but it's just a point. It will be theirs at some point, theoretically.
Yep.
Does that happen? And does that creep into the conversation and in his head when he's like, man, I'm sick of being beaten up every weekend, dude. We could just take the private jet to Monaco and hang out for a week. I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
for sure.
what's that say about his championship mentality in this class, in the premier class, That is one thing, and you and I have talked about this. I want to get into the heads of these riders so much more than the current interviews do. Gypsy does a great job of that, and I want to see so much more of it because the moto stories are great, but I would love to know what goes on behind the scenes, and I think Justin Cooper is a great case study for that. Like, what's life like, man, when you can just hop on a private jet and go?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the mental side of it's probably big for him. I think it was probably Redbud last year. If you get a minute, could you look up his individual results in the vault from last year for outdoors?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it
Sure.
was Redbud last year that the team forced him to use a scoop tire because he hates a scoop tire for whatever reason.
Okay.
It changes the bike. He wasn't getting starts. He wasn't performing. He's always a good starter, and like they made him run that scoop tire because it's you have to adjust. It's the comfort thing. He's comfortable with the normal tire. He didn't want to adjust to it, whatever the case is.
Right.
I've only ridden it once, so I get it. It's probably like a weird feeling compared to what you're used to. But this outdoor season, in my opinion, for his career is going to be a big tell-all. And who knows? Again, maybe it's a team change. I would put money on it. He does not end up a star next year based on the results so far. But could he turn around? Sure. Could he win some outdoor races? Probably. Maybe some motos.
Yep.
These guys up front are just going so fast right now. I just don't see how he slides himself in there with what we've seen. He used to beat Chase on 250s. He was an amazing 250 rider, like you said.
Right.
In my opinion, though, like if someone like Jordan Smith jumped on a 450 right now, I think you'd see more out of Jordan Smith because it seems like he has more like fire in the tank. He's got
That's
more.
a massive point. I think you're so right. I think you're very right.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to think about, but I don't know, man. It's all like what ifs, like hearsay and all that. But we could talk about it all day. I hate to say it, but I don't see him doing much in 450s at this point. By now, he should have already been on the podium in Supercross doing something, just better than what he is. And I just not to take away from the talent of these guys. These guys are all amazing
Right.
riders. He's incredible, but
Right.
I think the
Well,
ship's slowly sailing away for him.
so I'll read you his career accomplishments direct from promotocross.com.
Yeah.
2024 450 class, fourth place.
Yep.
Two-time AMA Pro Motocross 250 class runner-up in 23 and 21.
Yep. I remember
Two-time
that
Pro
title.
Motocross Championship third place 2019 and 2018. He has
Yep.
four 250 wins in motocross, two 450 podiums,
Yep.
39 250 podiums. 39
Yep.
podiums on a 250, two podiums on a 450. What does that say?
Outdoors.
The words talk, numbers scream. We can say whatever we want. It's right here in the data, dude. It is what it is. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And again, not discounting the kid's talent, but we all know you have to bump up to the premier class. I get that. But what would that dude have accomplished and ran the table on a 250 if he stayed there? Crazy to think about. Crazy to think about.
It is, yeah, and we'll venture into these here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, he again those runner-ups into the 250 motocross series. It were just a lot of those were dumb mistakes, crashes, injuries, things that shouldn't have happened. Kind of
Yep.
throwing some things away, unfortunately. So, excuse me, I'm curious to see what he does moving forward. Again, I think outdoors will be better for him, but
Yep.
if Roxon and I don't know if Roxon's going to race the whole series. It doesn't sound like he wants to do outdoors. But if you got
I
Tomac
don't
and
blame
Webb
him.
and Sexton and then Hunter and then Jett, where
Yep.
does Justin Cooper fit into even the outdoor, moto wins or podiums? I just don't see it. But
Yep.
yeah, guys,
The
leave some comments. Let us know. I mean, we're just kind of spitting some theoreticals here, but it's interesting because a guy like him on arguably the best bike is just not performing like you think he would. So,
The outdoor
and
schedule has to be brutal and so grueling and downright miserable. And imagine if you're having a bad season on top of that, it has to compound it and make it that much worse. But
yeah,
we'll save that for when outdoors rolls around. Guys, let's jump right into the 250s as follows, because 250 racing was wild, dude.
so
Jordan
good.
Smith, Haiden Deegan, Cole Davies, and Julian Beaumer. We got some stuff to talk about. Shout out to Triumph for their first win. Jordan Smith got it done. Chris actually called it in the last video that Jordan Smith was going to win. So Chris is a little bit of a savant when he has all his caffeine in him. But the real magic, and we're not going to discount what Jordan Smith accomplished going 2-3-1. But the
No.
real devil in the details happened with Haiden Deegan, Cole Davies, and Julian Beaumer. Chris, talk to me about the 250s, sir.
Well, I mean, I got to start off by saying like Aiden and Julian, in my opinion, both blew it. Mind you, they got
Choked.
second and fourth,
Choked.
but they absolutely blew it this weekend, in my opinion. Hayden crashed in the first one, but also had opportunities on all three main events to win them, to move forward, to win. And I saw someone talking about it today on like a reel or something, but Hayden might not be the fastest 250 guy, and I'm starting to see that. Maybe he has raw speed and he can lay down some fast laps, but as we've seen over and over and over, he makes mistakes or he just can't push through. It was really weird to see him looking back when he got by Garrett Marchbanks this weekend. He's like looking over his shoulder. Um, just unlike him again, and Julian even worse. Julian had the first two hole shots and
Poor
just
guy.
crashes. And again, it could happen to anybody. These guys are racing at the highest level. I understand it's a lot of pressure, but
Yep.
Julian's home race had two starts. A 1-1-2 would have got him the overall. Absolutely no problem.
Yep.
Of course, we saw Cole Davies, who is the rookie, the 17-year-old from New Zealand, won the first two, had Hayden behind him at some points, gone, took off. Jordan was catching him in the
Riding
first one,
incredible.
but so good to see. So yes, my whole thing right here is that those two guys that should be the title favorites kind of threw it away this weekend in a triple crown. There's going to be some East West showdowns. There's going to be like races like this where this cannot happen again because this series is way too short. I thought
Yep.
Hayden would be leading the points by now. And don't get me wrong, he might come out in 2 weeks in Arlington, wherever they're racing, and win the whole thing. I don't know. It's very possible. He's an amazing rider, but it was just weird to see the mistakes that we saw. And then again, to see Hayden have such good starts and not do something with them. I expected more out of Hayden than anything. And then, yeah, I don't know. Just give me your thoughts, I guess. I'm very curious.
Yeah. So Julian choked. Hayden Deegan also choked. Cole Davies choked. It was so crazy. It was as if the emotions were so high and they all knew they had to jockey for position and they all just threw it away. Enter Jordan Smith. But Julian tucked the front end twice,
Yeah.
threw away both of those motos, right? Coincidence or nerves? I definitely don't think it's a coincidence because you said they're riding at the highest level, which they are. Duh.
Yep.
Those that shouldn't be happening. There's
Yep.
no one in front of him. That's just a mistake. So what's going on there, right? And then you have Cole Davies going 1-1-8. The third moto is the one that matters the most.
Yep.
Obviously, they know that. Hayden
Playing to
Deegan,
start.
Deegan goes 3-2-4. He overcame his adversity too. But in my opinion, that was Haiden Deegan's entire Triple Crown to lose. And he did. Now you want to talk about the points. Haiden Deegan is only 3 points back off of first. It reads 87, 85, 84, Beaumer, Smith, and Deegan.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I think you would agree with this, Deegan should already be leading the championship points.
Yeah. I mean, with all the hype, everything coming into it. Yeah.
What is going on? And not only that, then you have Joe Shimoda, who we'll get into a little bit later, who is sitting in fifth at 68 points. That's slowly starting to slip away from him. But does it take a mega mistake from Smith or Deegan? From Beaumer or Deegan to really shake all of that up, man? It's the 250s were interesting because it was almost as if they were all riding over their head and just couldn't get it done. It was weird.
Very weird. And again, it's only 3 points. But when you're looking at guys like theoretically, Julian and Jordan Smith are like 1-2 for the next few races, and Hayden throws a race away, like either DNFs or finishes outside the top 10. Does he have
Yep.
time to recover those points for the 250 title? I mean, the big
Right.
question is, can he win a 250 Supercross title? He's been there for SMX. He is consistent, and the Supercross results are showing how consistent he is.
Right.
But he's not winning. Like, he's not as dominant as the smack talk and everything we saw last year like would have proven. I just thought that he would be winning more and leading the points right now. But Jordan Smith, a lot of experience in this position. He's great under pressure. He's up front. He pushes. He goes for the win. He'll throw it away for the win of the podium. We saw that in was it Anaheim too. He did that. He crashed in the whoops trying to pass for third.
Yep.
It's just so interesting to see these guys. Oh man, I don't know. It's just a weird season. Like, I thought Hayden was going to be a lot better off, but then we have Julian who stepped up and is in a great spot, but making mistakes. He's still young. These guys are
Yep.
all young, and
Yep.
obviously they have time to win titles. They're all going to be the best. They're going to be great 450 riders, but I don't think anyone watching this would have said that after 4 races, Julian would be leading the points and Hayden would be in third. It's only
Who
3 points, but
has
still.
right? Who has the better career longevity? Hayden Deegan or Julian Beaumer?
I'm going to say Hayden so far. We need to see how Julian does outdoors. He needs to prove himself outdoors. Hayden's a monster outdoors, probably the best
Right.
outdoor guy in the class. No question about that. Supercross is a different monster, though.
It is. Hayden Deegan, all talk, no walk, or a perfect blend of both.
I mean, it's a perfect blend, I guess. I don't see him getting like a fourth place anytime soon unless he crashes again. But I don't know. I mean, he's definitely shown the speed. The qualifying laps are there. I mean, Julian's been insanely fast too, and it's still early. It's still only 4 rounds in.
Yep.
But I wonder, like, is something
Right.
wrong? Is it the bike? Is it his? Is there an injury that we don't know about? Like, I just thought it would be more of a dominant run for him with the
Yep.
weaker coast. Theoretically, this coast is weaker than the East. The East Coast is
The East Coast is
stupid
stacked.
stacked.
It is.
Stupid
It's gonna be
stacked
more
right
fun
now.
to watch. 100%.
Yeah,
I think the focal point of the 250 West conversation right now needs to be Cole Davies. Imagine the stir he would have caused if he went 1-1-1.
I know. He
The
was on track to
adversity
do
that
that.
the adversity that he overcame to get eighth was incredible because he was plumb last by like a whole rhythm lane. The
Yeah,
kid made up an incredible amount of time, and again, it's the weaker coast. Fine, but to go
yeah.
from dead last to eighth is incredible. But I think if he went 1-1-1, the conversation of 250 West Championship changes entirely. And going back to the points, he is fourth in points at 72. Does he have enough runway to get himself into the top three?
Top three, yeah. I mean, he's 15 points out of the lead. But I keep thinking, I mean, again, in our eyes, Hayden Deegan's the fastest guy. In our eyes, at least going into this whole season, the first few rounds, like, all right, Hayden's the guy. But he rides with Hayden. Cole and Hayden ride together all week during the week.
Yes.
And he looked like that. That's how it looked like when they were riding the main events. Cole saw Hayden behind him and was just like, hey, I got this. It was like a practice track, like just a normal day at the track. Wasn't riding
Yep.
over his head. He doesn't look like he's sketchy at all. He always looks so comfortable. The bike looks like it's moving so perfectly. Good in the whoops. What's to say that he doesn't come out and win a couple of these next few rounds? Obviously, they have a week off, but when they come back,
Yep.
like maybe he comes back better. We have a bye week. We have to think about that. There's a bye week with Supercross. So look at football. Look at other sports with bye weeks. Some people like make up great advantages and find some things that are missing in bye weeks. Other guys come out a little stale because you have a week off. You got to sit home, think about your deficit, think about the points you need to make up, think about your mistakes. Someone like Cole Davey, who was not expected to win this title, was supposed to race the SMX Next, who is now almost winning races. Kid like
Insane.
him could go on like a Carmichael-esque run. You never know. He's so young. He looks so good. He looks so ahead of some of these guys.
Do you think Hayden Deegan was taken by surprise with the level of intensity and challenge that Julian Beaumer brings to him?
Yeah, I would say even Jordan or Cole. I think maybe he was a little bit surprised by all those guys because I mean he only knows so much by watching people ride and practice and stuff. But
Yep.
the main event comes around and it's totally different. And the Glendale track wasn't that crazy. Like it was a hard pack track, not that much different than what these guys train on, like the California tracks. Longer
Sure.
rhythms, a little more speed. But just again, it just didn't look like the Hayden Deegan I thought we would see. It's just interesting to me.
Let's wrap this up by talking about Joe Shimoda. We've had we had
Easy on him.
incredibly high hopes for Joe Shimoda. He was
Yep.
dealt a very bad card that was not his fault with breaking fingers. Joe Shimoda
Yep.
goes 21, 6 and 5 for 10th overall.
Yep.
Give me your thoughts on Joe Shimoda's 2025 season, but his expectations for 2026. Because I think the career window for Joe Shimoda is actually starting to close relatively quickly. You have to write off 2025. I'm thinking of this as a team manager perspective.
Hmm.
Bad hand, haha, pun intended, that he was dealt with the injury. Let's nurse him and see what we can salvage points wise, provided he's not a risk to himself on the bike. The fact that he can still even hang on a factory bike is insane to me. But 2026 has to be the year where he actually shines. And if not, the conversation changes drastically for his future. Chris, go.
I mean, it's hard not to look at Anaheim 1 and think like that Joe Shimoda is in there somewhere, right? Like he was so perfect at Anaheim 1. Absolutely flawless. Got the start, took off. And again, we've seen it in the past. He doesn't always do well moving through traffic. But yeah, like you said, you kind of have to write this year off. And don't get me wrong, I think if he gets healthy enough, he could probably win some outdoor rounds. I mean, he's
Without
a
a
great
doubt.
outdoor rider, arguably just as good as any of the other guys in the class right now. But yeah, you got to throw this away. 100%. He was probably poised to maybe win a few more rounds, be in this title hunt. He probably would only be a few points down. I mean, his
Mhm.
results that he's gotten with the broken fingers, still beating
Still
factory guys.
incredible.
He beat Marchbanks. I mean, he's out of Rider D, who's hurt right now, but
Yep.
race results this weekend. I think he beat Moseman too, right? Sorry, I'm just pulling this up really quick.
Yeah. So he
No, he
beat,
didn't beat Moseman, so he was 10th
no,
overall. But in these main events, I mean, if you take that 21 away, like he's looking pretty solid. Like that, those are some
if,
really good finishes. 6'5". It was
if
six
you,
six five.
right. If you watch, if you watch Joe Shimoda ride, yes, he has a hurt hand. Let's say he doesn't for a second. It almost looks as if he doesn't have the level of intensity and aggressiveness that the top four of this race brought to the table. Even going back to watching Anaheim 1, the riding style is totally different. Am I off in saying that? Is that accurate? Is that, I don't know how I feel about that.
I guess I just think that's his riding style. I just think he never really looks like he's trying hard. He's kind of someone who reminds me of like a Roxon, who's like so
Much more
buttery smooth,
methodical. Yeah.
methodical. That's my opinion, and I could be wrong on that. But
I
um,
think that Joe has incredible racecraft, but continue. Go ahead.
yeah, I just don't think we got enough of Joe. I don't think we got enough to see how does round 2 and 3 go without broken fingers because that would have been a more of a tell all. I think the 6'5" this weekend tells more than anything. Like again, he's insanely fast. He's riding so well with
Right.
broken fingers.
Right.
Like he figured something out. He changed up his training program this year. He moved east, trying new things. This is a different Joe, and I just think that it's all speculation. But I do think he might have been in this title hunt. He might have been one of the guys that we should be watching because he's shown that he's better than last year just by just these finishes he's getting. He's putting through the pain. He's riding through all the stuff he's going through right now. I don't know. It's definitely it's a good question. I don't think you're wrong by saying like um, he should be doing better, and next year needs to be the year. Next year needs to be a title year for him,
Yes.
undoubtedly.
It's the blank or the get off the pot year for him.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know, man. It's like a stacked field, sure. Like the top guys are amazing, but if it was a 50 East, I don't think he's going 6 and 5. Like I think he probably would have been closer to 10th place because there's just so many guys in that class, and it might be different. Guys might get hurt round 1 this weekend. Who knows? But we're looking at all the guys who are signed up for this weekend in 2 of these that some guys aren't even on the list yet. Holy
Stacked.
cow!
Stacked. And
Holy
we're gonna
cow!
have a whole separate show for the Tampa pre-race show. But dude, The 250 East will probably deliver better racing than 450s will. That 250 gate is like all for a like I don't know, it's like all-star level sick. It's gonna be great to watch.
I don't know. I mean, I just like I'll like list off some names, but like you obviously have Faulkner, you have Anstey, you have Daxton Bennick, Nate Thrasher if he lines up, Cameron McAdoo, Seth Hamaker, um, dude, there's just so many guys. RJ,
Yep.
you got Tom Vial. What do you pick out of that? All those
There's your
guys could win races,
there's
all
your
of
top
them.
10 every single week.
Yeah, getting in the top 10 into the East,
I
beating
feel
factory bikes is going to be tough
if you're a privateer in 250s, I feel bad for you. You have a better chance in 450s than 250s in 250 East.
for
250
sure.
West, different
No,
story. Yeah.
and it usually doesn't play out like that. But all the injuries and things that have happened this year, Hayden going west, scared a lot of people off. Levi Kitchen, obviously, didn't mention him. Like he's going to be insanely good.
Yep.
Tom Vial is a reigning champion. I mean, I don't see how he doesn't do it again. He's been there in the trenches. MX2, two-time champion. He can perform under pressure, probably better than most of the guys that are in the class. So man, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of question marks this weekend. Like we're at the end of the show, Matt. So let's do it. Let's pick our 250 East winner and our 450 winner for Tampa. Who do you got? Put you on the spot right now.
Oh
You got
man, 250
5 seconds.
East, 250 East, Tom VL, Roxon for 450s.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go
Hit me.
Tomac. I'm gonna go Tomac. You said Vial. I was gonna go Vial. I'll go Levi. Switch it up. But I think those are your two guys.
That is an incredibly safe bet too, though, because Levi Kitchen's dirty.
But then you got Max Anstey, who could just come out and win out of nowhere. Like he just gets a start and he's gone.
Yep,
Dude, I don't know. This is crazy. I'm so
it
excited for
is.
this weekend. I'm literally so excited. A lot of you probably don't know, but I was literally at the airport for 6 hours this morning. My flight got
Yep.
delayed. Might be canceled. So I just decided to cancel our trip, unfortunately, but
Yep.
we'll make another
Well,
Supercross this year.
we're gonna be talking about that in the next show too. If you guys stuck around this late in the show, we appreciate
Yeah.
you as always. But yeah, Chris has had a hell of a long day. I was supposed to be on the way to the airport right now to pick his ass up, but it is what it is. We're gonna be at. I want to get to Unadilla for outdoors this year. We're not going to get into that
Yes, sir.
conversation, but we have plans to be at these races and be so much more involved. So it's going to be sick. But Chris, that is everything for Glendale, my friend. We're going to be talking all things Tampa real soon. But guys, please share with your friends, like, comment, subscribe, talk some trash in the comments. We want to hear from you as always because we're building the sickest motocross community that there is. But without further ado,
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
send them away, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you probably tomorrow for a live stream. Moto
Boom.
Outsider.
Let's do a live stream.
Yeah, we're out of here, guys. Have a
All right,
good night.
guys. See ya.